Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Christian video where we're going over another one of his articles. Oh, and also, in case you think the presentation looks a little bit cleaner, it's because I'm using a brand new web camera for this video. It is one I just ordered, and I'll just give you a little shot of it now. Let me see if I can do this. No, it's going to be... So, there you go. And now with that introduction out of the way, let us begin. Homos. Already off to, just the greatest of starts here, ladies and gentlemen. This article is about Chris's opinions on homosexuality. For Chris's identity as a lesbian trans woman, see transgender. For Chris's bisexuality, see bisexual. Chris: I am straight. Vaginas and boobies give me my erections. You damn homos have no chance of me, ever. Chris. Let's just move past this, because there was a time before I realized mine being a female soul trapped in a male-born body when I was homophobic. But I became better aware of these kind and open-hearted people, and learned how understanding and passionate they are, and with that, losing the homophobia, I felt more at peace with myself and those around me. After Chris evolves. Now, you might suspect that somebody who claims to have been cured of homophobia would be a cause for celebration. However, Chris still detests males, and he is not really, he's just kind of like, for those who know anything about Chris, saying that he will go back and lie time and time again, and especially when it comes to stuff like this, it becomes apparent to everybody involved that I don't know whether or not Chris is just trying to, make him seem, ideal for his new surroundings, or this is just an attempt to save face, as it were. Because, well, just about everything in his history, about how much he was damning homosexuality for extinction so that it would be saved from hell. There are plenty more quotes from Chris that highly contradict or highly exaggerate Chris's sudden turn of heart. Homos was the pejorative term by which Chris referred to gay people, almost invariably gay males, nigh exclusively at the time of his discovery. He had also occasionally used phrases such as those of the wrong orientation, because even saying the word homo or gay made him feel uncomfortable. Chris's former ire for male homosexuals was confusing, since they, of all people, posed the least threat to his love quest, and seemed to be motivated entirely by his own sexual insecurities. From the very beginning of his internet fame in 2007, I'm not entirely sure if we really want to go for the phrase fame here, but okay, his extreme opposition to homosexuality and his neurotic obsession demand that everyone stay straight. And in case you're wondering why those are said in capitals, it's because he does this so he can add as much emphasis to them as possible. Had been one of his most noted and exploited aspects, until he came out as a transgender lesbian in 2014, at which point he gradually recanted previous homophobic statements, becoming supportive of equality. Again, there was no threat to begin with, so some people might say this means absolutely nothing. But whatever, those who actually are affected, I'd say probably would be. If I was gay myself, I would probably take... Listen, there are other things that Chris has done that I take, as a personal insult. And in many ways, I think, since I have gay friends myself, I really should be saying a lot more about this. But, you want to know why, ladies and gentlemen? I think it's simply because my friends have got better things to do with themselves than worry themselves about this. And I think if it's all right with them, then I think it's okay if it's all right with me. If it's all right with them, it's cool with me. So but then again, the consequences of Chris's, statements become very, very clear. So, past homophobia. Yes, I am a homophobe. I fear them all, and I fear the tormenting temptations of falling off the straight path. But then I mentally, sometimes from a DVD, and if you'll pardon the expression, shove some pussy in my face. I mean, technically that's an expression. Whatever. I tell you what, if I ever stoop down to changing my path, I might as well get a gender change operation. Chris, foreshadowing. Yeah, I'm not shocked. That's just what happens. Well, what he said, what he did in the end. Bear this in mind. Somebody who goes out of their way to call themselves an out-and-out homophobe, yeah, I think that is the beginning and the ending of most people if they go anywhere near Chris. Chris's homophobia apparently grew out of the complex stew of his noviophobia, his failure to achieve his love quest, his admiration for girly toys, his own gender confusion, his loathing of male bodies, and autism. His terror was such that he was barely able to bring himself to even utter the word gay, or any other term concerning gay people, except of course for homo. He struggled with intrusive homosexual thoughts. He said that he couldn't even look at a picture of a pickle without being freaked out. In Kill de Jack, Chris revealed that he had to cover a section of his computer screen with a piece of paper so that he could browse the Wikipedia without looking at Jack Thaddeus's pro-gay advertisements. Noting, nothing got Chris angrier than being mislabeled as a homo. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking to yourself, if it's not true, then it shouldn't hurt him. It's very basic common sense. If somebody called me gay and I knew it was absolutely not true because, I'm not gay, then I wouldn't even bat an eyelid at it, because people call me gay just, they, as in like a stupid, derogative way. This is just like, if it's not true, then don't pay attention to it. Chris, however, simply could never let go of it. Chris was not simply afraid of becoming a homo himself, he hated all gay men. This animosity seemed to result primarily from his fear of them and all men, and their supposed ability to desire to make him gay. That is a ridiculous thing to do, because let alone women being, repelled by Chris, what makes Chris in any way, shape or form think that gay men are going to be attracted towards him? He had often characterized the trolls, all of them, as homos, which is either a basic ad hominem attack or a sincere belief that anyone who draws penises on RoseChew must be gay. It also revealed a belief that all of his trolls are male, since Chris used homo exclusively in reference to gay men. This notion is not only demonstrably false, but in fact completely delusional, since many of Chris's greatest trolls have been women, and Chris knows it. This exercise in selective memory likely stems from Chris's loathing of male jerks and inversely proportional adoration for women. Notably, in an IRC chat from the 2nd of January 2009, Chris made the following statement. If I could have it my way, I'd make it illegal and forbidden to have homo men. Women are safe. Also, I would have the secondary definition of the word gay being homosexual removed from the word in the dictionaries, and all instinctions, and sayings of the word will only legally be used to mean happy, as it was originally intended among songs like Deck the Halls. In exactly 1 minute to... Is that meant to be midday? I think it's meant to be midday. Chris further went on to propose a bizarre form of conversion therapy in which all gay men would be imprisoned and made to sleep with both female offenders and prostitutes against their will. Read, basically rape. I know that, Chris, this is not China. Thereby reprogramming them. Again, this is not China. Interestingly, a certain Herr Hilmer had a similar idea, suggesting that pink triangle concentration camp prisoners be forced to sleep with female camp prostitutes. Well, there you are. They would be taken in and reprogrammed with upon multiple pleasurable moments with female prison inmates and prosts, Chris. Just imagine that. Just suddenly you be going to a conversion camp and be subjected to, you know, rape as your form of punishment. God damn. All I could say to that is that, well, maybe we should take it for granted that maybe Chris did not want this, you know, reserved for women as well. Think about that. On the 30th of January 2010, Chris voiced his sagacious opinion about the ban on homosexuals serving openly in the American military. He advocated the lifting of the ban, but only so that the homos can go die in explosions. The universe of Quickville also saw an anti-gay jihad. On the 5th of January 2010, Chris stated that Magi-chan keeps a constant psychic surveillance to ensure that there are no homos in Quickville. When evidence of homosexuality is found, the people involved are arrested and fined heavily. This really is China, isn't it? In Sonichu issue 10, Chris's comic self travels into the future, where scientists have successfully isolated the homo gene, an idea stolen from the Family Guy episode Family Gay. They have not, however, isolated the straight gene, and are only able to when Chris donates his own blood. Chris has once remarked that homosexuality can be cured by injecting blood from straight men into homosexuality people. However, that is not how vaccines work. For a vaccine to work, you would have to have a dead dose of a certain virus put into the vaccine, so meaning that Chris must have had the homo gene inside him, which, forget about the fact about how ridiculous this all sounds in reality. Could you imagine how utterly insane it sounds, not just in Family Guy, but the fact that Chris is deadly serious about this? Chris projects his repressed homosexuality onto one of his own abominations. Whatever. Right. Chris then brought back to the present enough of the cure to turn every gay person on Earth straight. Just that sentence alone sums up so many problems. Ironically, a vaccination traditionally consists of introducing a small amount of the disease to a body to stimulate the immune system. So Chris unwittingly implied that his blood contains the dreaded homovirus. I wonder if anybody actually ever brought this up days after the comic was completed. A classic case of Chris's homophobia surfaced in the struggle over advertisements on his Wikipedia. Jack Thaddeus purchased ad space onto the Wikipedia to put up 2 ads. One featured Peter Griffin of Family Guy, pointing out that he and his creator, Seth MacFarlane, were supportive of gay rights, and the other promoted Mexican tourism with a cartoon cactus that Chris mistook for a pickle. Chris, unsurprisingly, went berserk, stating, "I understand you getting paid to run ads in the box on the Wikipedia. I feel okay with Vivian's audiobooks, but I feel offended with the Mexico contest and gay rights ads. The pickle on the Mexico ad reminds me of a terrible time in my past with pickle-suited trolls, and I am against homosexual lifestyles and for straight heterosexuality." Chris. In protest, Chris replaced Jack Thaddeus' gay-friendly ads with ads for Love in Action, an ex-gay ministry, ProtectMarriage.com, a site promoting Proposition 8, and a site calling for a boycott of Pepsi due to their gay friendliness. To sum it up, in one fell swoop, Chris managed to put in 3 big things that would not win him any gay friends, any female friends, anyone whatsoever. Not even homophobic people would be willing to be friends with Chris. Put that into perspective. As with his fear of becoming a homo, the origins of Chris's deep homophobia are not clear. Certainly Bob, his father, had an influence, as the Matthew Noble calls show that he had the same kind of deranged hatred and prejudice as his son. On the 7th of January 2010, when answering the question of how he began hating the gay population, we got this interesting insight. I estimate that I started hating them about summer of 2003, just after I started my sweetheart search, where I received the response from one woman, "Ooh, I'm sorry, I am a lesbian," that combined with my past dislike of gay men in general and later pictured images of such acts led to disgust and hatred for the homosexuals. Plus, all of the homos within the trolls and all the homosexual fans with their wrongful quoting of my comics and characters in their papers and essays promoting homosexuality, and even worse, a solitude balloon in one of their goddamn pride parades. All of these factors have only made my view of the homosexual males worse. Chris before finally stating for the umpteenth time that Sonichu is straight. If this is true, Chris made no reference to it at the time, restricting his hatred solely to the heterosexual male jerks. It is certainly ironic considering his more recent views on lesbianism. It also adds another interesting aspect to his hatred. Chris's frustration with homos is influenced by us being childish and whiny about not getting his way with one woman, who turned him down. We wouldn't expect anything different from him. He later expressed anxiety towards gays in his classic Future Message, released in February of 2007. Chris knows that his homophobia was unpopular with his fans, and he often tried to persuade the public that he respects homosexuals for who they are. I doubt that. However, he usually betrayed his sincere intolerance of different lifestyles soon afterward, often within the same statement. On the 18th of February 2009, for example, Chris issued one of his retractions of his previous homophobic remarks and declared that he respects the gay people, just as he respects his gal pals and his sweethearts. However, this was done at the insistence of Julie, a mere month later. Chris was reciting verses from the Bible to once again preach against the vile homos. And also, if you're wondering why this box is censored out, I'll explain it in a second. On the 14th of June 2009, Chris posted a music video, "Don't Trust Any Homos Over There," which in his tradition of ruining everything you ever loved is a homophobic message of Uncle Ruckus's satirical song "Don't Trust Them New N-Word Over There" from the Boondocks. Later on the same day, he published an apology for the video and insists that he likes gays who accomplish other things, like Stephen Fry, who was a homosexual. But, he did a good job being a narrator on Little Big Planet. Stephen Fry has done a lot more than just that, Chris. I'm also saying this right now because Stephen Fry is a man who's suffered through bipolar disorder for years, and it is, if the accounts of what I heard about bipolar disorder are true, then I could not even begin to imagine what would happen living like that. It sounds like hell. And also, Stephen Fry is a fantastic. I think he was didn't he graduate from Cambridge? I think he writes a lot of novels and is a very proud and passionate man. He even portrayed Oscar Wilde, a gay Irish writer, in a short movie for TV, I believe. There you are. Chris was, of course, unaware of the various other career accomplishments of Stephen Fry. It seems that this apology was only posted in the first place for the sake of the gal pal Kim's boyfriend, whose gay brother apparently lost both his arms in Iraq. On the 6th of August, at a time when the trolls were getting the most mileage out of baiting Chris regarding his sexual orientation, Chris posted a wide-ranging, hate-fueled rant on the Wikipedia, which he hoped would clear up all misconceptions. Also might possibly get the police involved. His address to the homosexualities, subtitled, "I am straight, not homo, not bi, straight, get it through your thick skulls," is a classic statement on the issue. Unfortunately, it had no noticeable effect on the trolling, the essay in full. And also, I'll explain what's going on over here. If I was a homosexual, anything like that, would I not be having sex with 3 women? It's Chris, well, trying to make love to 3 women, which are a part of his, Guitar Hero band, on what looks like a pool of lava. That's supposed to be a carpet. Somehow Chris's boobs look... The way Chris draw his boobs here are more realistic than anyone else he's done. Way to go, Chris. Anyway, the essay in full. Good day. I write this essay with sound mind to address such major issues that has been bugging me constantly for the past years. The pressure and stress from the homosexual population. First of all, as I have said over and over and over and over and over and over and over infinite number of times, I, Christopher, Christian, Ricardo, Weston, Chandler, am straight. No question or shadow of a doubt. Ever. I personally respect the individual people as fellow human beings, and I am cool with associating with them as acquaintances and friends. But please do not wave around what you do behind closed doors around me. Nobody cares to know. I personally do not care to know. Even with my imagination. I do not care to even have the pictures randomly pop up in my head. Every time of such pictures' appearance, I feel queasy and want to throw up. I humbly apologize for being offensive, but that is how I feel. As a human being, I have no hard feelings conversing and associating with the homosexuals at any time. Individually, they each have a right to their own opinions, perceptions, and peaceful lives. I fully understand and respect that. The only thing that really grinds my gears harshly is being wrongfully labelled as a homosexual when I am straight. I am aware of the way I stutter, space my words, and all that from the way I talk, but I assure you that I sometimes have trouble fully comprehending situations and status at first. It sometimes takes me a long while before I could fully comprehend and make an appropriate reaction. In other words, I am sometimes retarded. And the only reason I have not had sex yet in my lifetime with a woman yet is because the whole time I have been shy, kept down with the personal fear of nearly every woman I see being already paired up with a boyfriend. I am a man who likes confrontations. I am not a man who likes confrontations with the guy who has spoken for the woman I'm eyeing over. And during my high school years, I was naive on the subject of dating. Bring in dating education classes and run them alongside or before sexual education and make dating education equally mandatory. It had not dawned on me that I needed to be dating until after I turned 21 years old. During my 3rd year attending Piedmont, Virginia Community College and my Soniture and RoseTube comic book pages, again, I understand each individual person has their own perception of things, but contrary to the individual perceptions among some people, the comics, drawings, and all words all had no meaning of anything homosexual whatsoever. I personally, in real life and in the comic pages, and all that promote being straight, no question or shadow of a doubt. All those of you who have heavily wrongfully misunderstood parts of all the comic pages and all that of such, all my Solitudes, RoseTubes, and citizens of Quickville, Virginia, do not appreciate at all being wrongfully labelled as homosexuals. It really infuriates me, Sonichu, Roastu, and everybody else. I have also heard of my Sonichu being written in college essays that promote homosexuality, and even worse, promoting him in the gay pride parades. Wrong labels. Stop writing or promoting me. All my characters as... Christ almighty, this goes on for a bit, doesn't it? All Sonichus are straight. All Roastus are straight. I am straight. My comics are straight comics. I, Sonichu and Roastu, we never want to be part of any and all homosexual promoting papers or events, because with every item that is created from none of my own hands, that even England such as wrongfully labellings upon me, Sonichu, Roastu, and all my straight characters, we are all being disrespected. We will never take that misunderstandings, mislabelings, and all the like sitting down. I personally would rather have a painful gender change operation than ever turn homosexual. So to reiterate, I and 96% of all characters are straight. Never call me, my comics, or any of my straight characters gay. Sigh. And to conclude, why I personally do not care about the homosexual lifestyle, that's Swift, and I personally respect each individual homosexual person as individual human beings. The main thing that really infuriates me is being called gay. Do not ever call me gay or ever question my sexual orientation. I am fabulous on the inside. I, Christopher, Christian, Ricardo, Weston, Chandler, am straight, period. Thank you. Christ, not even fuck, which actor I'm trying to talk to about, the one who played Professor Rattigan in The Great Mouse Detective, the one that was Edward Scissorhands' father. I can't remember what his name was, but that's kind of like what I was trying to go for as like a dramatic verse. Let me just see if I can just like find out who he is first, just before we continue. Vincent Price. That's who I was trying to go for. I was trying to go for Vincent Price meets Miss Piggy. I thought I did a pretty good job. On the 12th of January 2010, Chris again appeared to soften his stance, saying that I am decreeing that homosexuals will have equal relationship rights within Quickville. However, in the same breath, Chris clarified gay marriage is still illegal and wrong. And Magi-chan will stay out of these people's heads under my request. The reason why gay marriage isn't an equal relationship right is not readily apparent. Because no matter what Chris says, he will never give anyone any kind of freedom whatsoever. Defenses against being a homo. It's hard work for a warrior of true love and honesty to stay straight. Chris used many strange and toetic objects, from a poster of Sailor Moon to his Optimus Prime toy, to aggressively assert his straightness. Chris has said that he stared at his Sailor Moon poster every day to stave off temptations of homosexuality. The centerfold poster of Marge Simpson's Playboy edition was another of Chris's many defenses against being a homo. The fact that she is a married cartoon character does not seem to have dissuaded him. Chris also subscribed to Playboy to help keep himself straight. You could tell he's straight because when he's explaining what he finds attractive in women, it only takes 5 seconds for him to get around to breasts and china. According to Chris, Heterosexuals defend their sexuality by stomping on vibrators and showcasing index cards indicating their straightness on their shoes. When homosexual or potentially homosexual fans sent Chris questions on the Wikipedia asking for tips to stay straight, Chris tended to suggest what essentially amounts to self-brainwashing. Some of his ideas include thinking of naked women and how awesome they are, and imagining being struck by painful lightning whenever a homosexual thought occurs. Wow, I'm surprised Chris never thought to run for Congress, because any 10 more ridiculous and incredibly homophobic offenses towards gay people, and I reckon Chris could probably run for the governorship of Texas at this state. He also clarified that one needs not buy a Sailor Moon poster in particular. Any poster featuring attractive women, preferably in bikinis and looking sexy, will do the trick. He believes these rituals are necessarily to maintain sexual attraction to women. Chris has also encouraged women to not drink, smoke, or be physically abused while pregnant, as this could cause the baby to be born homosexual. I cannot believe it's bad enough that I have to go over this twice, but it's like when you stand back and you have to read this shit, you can't quite believe it. Chris has also as if homosexuality is like fetal alcohol syndrome. Chris is also convinced that his chances of becoming homosexual have been raised because he did not engage in heterosexual intercourse before maturation. Chris, you would have to understand. Chris, you're going to have to do something to explain what you understand by maturation and how you think you are mature for coming up with this garbage. Hence his oft-stated regret that he did not get dating education classes in high school, because they never would be, and his recommendation that they be made available for the youth of today. I think the youth of today have got better things to worry about. Considering the myriad of habits Chris has cultivated, which are highly atypical for a straight male, it seems certain that he has been at the very least sexually confused. He is demonstrably very aggressive and insecure about it. Lesbianism. Let's just put a bow on it now and just we'll give a pause here. I need some water. That's what I need. Hello there again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to part 2 of Chris and the Homos. A very unfortunate name title for this part. And I'm doing the reason I'm splitting this up into 2 parts is just because there's a lot to go into, and I didn't want to get people barraged down with anything like that. So that's all I've got. Moving on to lesbianism. Whereas Chris's discomfort with homosexual males has been fairly consistent, his views on lesbianism have vacillated. They varied wildly. In Chris's Carrie ripoff, The High School Story, his Mary Sue character, Tara Leanne Yauman, is ridiculed and accused of being a lesbian by kids at her high school because she hangs around with male friends, as the work serves as a backstory to the villainous private villa of corrupted citizens. Tara's bullying may have served as a fictional inverse parallel to the endless accusations of homosexuality lodged by Chris's detractors, illustrating Chris's worldwide view of implied homosexuality as an insult. She felt angry when she heard lesbian. When called out, she would leave the bully an intimidating glare with a purple glow from her green eyes. Then soon after, a strong, straight homophobe would attack that bully with no mercy. Actually, no mercy is my battle tag on Overwatch, so really I stepped in and did this. Beat the crap out of that person. There you are, I'm stopping bullies in the high school story. On the 25th of July 2009, Chris produced a rambling and nonsensical video to the tune of Avril Lavigne's Girlfriend. I know that one. In the middle of the video, Chris sings about the importance of being straight and intersperses a "Stay Straight" caption of a photo of a lesbian couple split in two. Hey, hey, you, I know that you like me. Hey, you, you need to be straight, girl. Hey, hey, you, I want to be your boyfriend. I used to love that song. I still do. So nothing's changed there. Later, Chris would gradually revise his former hardline attitude against lesbianisms. Lesbians. In Sonichu, Chris goes out of his way to state that the children of Sonichu and Rosechu are watched over by Heather Iglesias, whom he characterizes as a pretty trustworthy, good-natured Spanish lesbian. He further mentions that Heather keeps her sexuality a secret from the kids, at the request of Sonichu himself. Chris may have shoehorned a lesbian character into Sonichu to appear more tolerant. Unfortunately, you can't appear more tolerant if you describe it as shoehorning. You just can't do that. But his attempt comes off as a half-hearted in light of his continual derision of gay men and insistence that Heather hide her sexuality. In Mumble Number 1, which took place on the last day of 2009, Chris declared his support for lesbians and reiterated his simultaneous hatred for gay men, stating that he hated jerks in general, and how typically a porn DVD helped to soften his views on lesbians. In effect, Chris claimed that he supports lesbians because he believes women are beautiful, and hates gay men because men are icky. Pretty much, but it's like, between lesbians, it's like, partial discourage, but then between guys instead, I would definitely 100% discourage. In my humble opinion, I've talked to others before with Sarah, my girlfriend. I cannot be willing to do a threesome with two women, but definitely never with two guys. Mumble is not wrong. That felt like just a half-hearted rant with little, pauses in the middle where he couldn't think of anything to say. Yes, they are. Yes, they're more beautiful. They're truly like works of art in their own way. Just like, the statues that were in past time. And somehow men cannot be beautiful in the same way, Chris. Yeah. On the 28th of March, Chris posted a public Facebook message whining about repeat media coverage of the Supreme Court's Proposition 8 and DOMA deliberations. In it, he reiterated his support for lesbians and his disapproval of the damn homosexual males. By the 14th of August 2014, Chris's transgender status had proceeded to coming out as a lesbian-identified male. In his coming out post, he posted a picture of himself holding an LGBT flag, but stated that, "I support the LBT fully. The G, gay, and M, male, are fortunate to be on this boat." Oh boy. On the 31st of October 2014, Chris spent that Halloween at a gay bar dressed as a groovy 70s lesbian, further evidencing his apparent acceptance of homosexuality, in that visiting a gay bar was the thing Chris had specified on multiple occasions in the past that he would never do in his life. If Chris says he will never do something, he probably has already done it. He lies. That's the thing you need to know. Through 2017, Chris expressed his interest in media ripe with lesbian implications, hinted at to the point in which he fantasizes himself in the act. I can't think of why. Prior to his relationship with Jessica Quinn, Chris complained of his loneliness by comparing to himself to Life is Strange lesbian duoantagonist Chloe Price. Shifting stance. Not long after coming out as a male lesbian, Chris felt deeply uncomfortable with being perceived as gay or homo. Oh, you mean in the same way you did it to other people, Chris? Bite me. And in Facebook statements attempted to exclude gay men from his crusade for gender equality. No matter under the influence of his new sweetheart Catherine and other gal pals, Chris retracted these clumsy statements, apologizing for the umpteenth time. I am accepting of the gays as people, just like most any individual person. But he already missed the point in the very first sentence. He completely missed it entirely. Seriously, you all be proud of who you are. Oh, Chris is now telling us what we should do. Great. All I ask is not to find any reason to feel anger towards anyone of any orientation. You mean the thing you should have done from the very beginning, Chris? Race or whatever, based on their individual actions or offense as an individual person of self. Also, please disregard all of my past. Oh, we're supposed to just forgive him now? We're supposed to just like that? Is that how this works? Past thoughts of turning gay straight. That was very wrong of me. I am very sorry about that, and continue to be true and proud of yourselves for who you are, as I am very proud of myself for being a lesbian transgender, a female lesbian soul trapped in a male body. Chris, surprisingly redeemable. However, also, please disregard all of my past. Chris, if you're trying to make an apology, you should not be making demands of people. Even for sincere reasons, you shouldn't do that. That's just my suggestion. He also announced his support for the Human Rights Campaign, going so far as to say that homophobics are none other than the cyberbullies and internet trolls who put hate on the internet are innocent around the world, young and old, some of which even put pressure on to force you into being something you know you are fully are not. Interestingly, his prior notion that all trolls are homosexuals had been completely reversed to the idea that they are all homophobes, illustrating that Chris still believes that any detractor of his is part of an organized movement and has personal flaws. However, if the past is any judge, the end of his relationship with Catherine has no doubt caused his homophobia to resurface. He confirmed in late 2014 that despite the fact that Comic Chris shares his new gender identity, Rentnauk, his opposite, is still an evil, violent homo. On the 26th of June 2015, the Supreme Court upheld the constituency of gay marriage. Chris, shockingly enough, reacted very positively towards this. Congratulations to all us for nationwide marriage equality. If a holiday be made on June 26, 2015, how about Pride-Dependence Day? Now I still require my sweetheart to be my future wife. And he immediately turns it about himself. That is no shocker to anyone. As a #lesbian, #trans woman, I do feel I am compatible with any woman. What about other women, Chris? Do they get a say in this? And no, I am not mistaken. I have been genuinely feeling and identifying like a woman for about my whole lifetime. Even at the points where you said you never were. I never could appreciate the male's Neanderthalian interests, and I felt more appreciative and comprehending of fashions, makeup, shopping, empathy. You mean in the same way that males couldn't? Besides, you say that about fashion, Chris, but have you seen the shit you've been wearing for years? Don't believe a thing he says. He doesn't mean half of it. Identifying things and looking to resolve problems reasonably. You mean... You know, Chris, these things are not, reserved just for women. These aren't things that can never be reserved just for... I'm not even going to finish it. There's no use to this. You guys know what I'm talking about, but Chris is the only person who could never understand this. Plus, I have a great deal of self-control. No, you do not. And I can bring good and pleasant tidings to an all-woman party. Can you also bring grammar, Chris? Maybe somebody should bring that to you instead. Love wins, one family, LGBTQ, Pride Dependence Day, Pride. In October 2015, Chris released a video in which he apologizes for the past homophobic statements and iterates that he is now supportive of male homosexuals, while still drilling the point home that Sonichu and Rosechu are straight. He almost simultaneously retcons Sonichu issue 10. And replaced the fictional gay epidemic with a bizarre Nazi zombie premise, which still has homophobic implications given the context of the comic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Chris and, his criticism of the word homos. It's just... I think it's just... It's fascinating if it wasn't so batshit crazy. But actually, it's kind of interesting because when you think about it, Chris has absolutely had no qualms whatsoever about, saying all these horrible things about, homosexual people. But if we look up racism, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to, I couldn't help but feel as if Chris should probably make more efforts to apologize for this. I feel like that might also be a good place to start. Because I'll just end this video off by just making this harmless little joke. Oh, Sonichu, I just love your disguise. Oh boy, maybe I should do that next week. I should just review a Vincent Price film. That would be kind of cool. And I hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.